Hello students, life is like riding a bicycle. So, in order to keep the balance, we must keep moving. Let us move on to our topic. The next concept here is VI characteristic of diode. Now what is this VI characteristic? Here V stands for voltage, I stands for current. In the last class, we have understood something about forward bias and reverse bias. What is this forward bias? When P side of the diode is connected to positive terminal of the battery and N side is connected to negative terminal of the battery, then it is said to be forward bias. What happens during this time? The forward resistance decreases and the barrier potential also decreases, and also the depletion layers width also decreases. As a result, there is more chances for majority charge carriers for conduction, and we say that diode conducts. Here the resistance is very low, of the order of few ohms, and the current flows of the order of few milliampere. And we say that diode conducts in forward bias. What happens in reverse bias? Reverse bias is when P side of the diode is connected to negative terminal of the battery and N side is connected to positive terminal. Reverse of that of forward bias. Now what happens during this time? The resistance of the diode increases. So the width of the depletion region also increases. The effective barrier height, barrier potential height also increases. Here the resistance is very large of the order of few mega ohms, which will not allow the majority charge carriers to flow through it. So the current, the conduction, we say that it is very low or negligibly small. But anyway, the minority charge carriers will drift due to the electric field produced in the depletion region, but that current is very small of the order of few microampere. Microampere, that value, if I write 1 microampere, it is nearly equal to 0 ohms. So the current is very small. So we then say that here the resistance is very large. So diode, we say that diode do not conduct in reverse bias. So students, these are the basic difference between forward bias and reverse bias. Make a note of it. It is an important question. Write at least 3 difference between forward bias and reverse bias. Now, when the diode is under forward bias, you are applying the external voltage. When you apply the external voltage, as the external voltage increases, what happens to the current in the circuit? That values we are noting down, V value and I value, and after noting down that values, we plot a graph, V versus I. Here V, voltage is taken along x-axis and current is taken along y-axis, and that is called VI characteristic of diode. Now under forward bias, how we are doing the circuit? Not only the diode and battery, here we want to measure the voltage, we want voltmeter. To measure the current, we want ammeter. Since here current is of the order of milliampere, we are using the ammeter which reads the current in terms of milliamps. And in order to vary the voltage, we are using a rheostat. So students, draw the circuit diagram for VI characteristic of diode in case of forward bias. Here, VI characteristic is the graphical representation of voltage and current, where voltage is represented along x-axis, current is represented along y-axis. And the circuit diagram, we have a battery, and in order to vary its voltage, we are using a rheostat. A rheostat has a 3-terminal. Now this symbol is for resistance, just this much, 2-terminal device, and measuring device, that is ammeter, and since the current is of the order of 2 milliamps, they are using milliammeter. Now where should its positive terminal and negative terminal? Second from positive, this line comes here, so it is positive, and this one of course should be negative. So students, note down this diagram. Now here let me represent the names of these devices. This one is called as battery with a positive terminal and negative terminal. This 3-terminal device is called a rheostat, which works to vary the voltage, external voltage. And of course you have studied, this is the symbol representation of diode. This direction represents the direction of conventional current. Here it is P side, here it is N side. P side is connected to positive terminal, N to negative terminal, so it is said to be under forward bias. And this device here, V, is nothing but voltage to measure potential difference across this diode. And it must be connected in parallel, and ammeter must be connected in series. Now, just one random typical values. When you switch on the battery, let me write some arbitrary values. You may not get exactly the same values. So, for example, initially voltage is 0. So, we get here current also 0. You have switched on the battery, you have not given any external voltage, V value here measured will be 0. So, what reading you get here? 0. As you increase the voltage here, say let me increase the voltage by 0.11 step, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 1, 1.5, 2, etc. Let me record the readings of the current what I get. So the current readings initially for some 3 to 4 values, almost this reading will be nearer to 0. 0.05, 0.06, that is nearly equal to 0. Then after some values for readings, there will be small amount of current. Say here it will be 0.5, here it may be 0.75, say at 7, here it will be 1, then it will be 1.2, 1.5, 2, 3, etc. After one particular value, the current increases sharply. Initially the current is 0, then slowly it starts increasing, then the increment is very large. Now when I represent this VI characteristic, if I plot these values in the graph, taking voltage along x-axis and the current, which is of the order of here, V is measured in volts, I is measured in milliamps. Now in the graph, you have already plotted so many graphs here by now. Now if I plot 0, this is 0, for 0 it is 0. When I the resistance value at this point, say at this particular voltage. So what I am taking a small range of this voltage. This small range I represent it at delta V. I draw the dotted line here, dotted line here. So this will be somewhere in the middle portion of this one. So let me draw a slope here for this portion. When I draw the slope here, this point and this point here, the current what I get, that is delta I. So this portion is delta I. This portion will be delta V. So by knowing that delta V and delta I value, we can calculate the dynamic resistance of the diode, and that value will be different at different positions. In case of forward bias, the resistance value will be low, of the order of few ohms. Students, so these are the important points related to VI, characteristic of diode and the forward bias. Note down the diagram. This you did not by heart it. This just I have given the sample values to plot the graph. For the examination point of view, just remember the graph of V versus I. Only this much is enough. So this graph, first almost the line passes through, almost touching x-axis, the new curve and sudden increase. And the voltage value, forward voltage value after which current increases sharply or exponentially is called cutting voltage. After this value, in the graph, current increases sharply or exponentially. This is the concept related to cutting voltage. And one more concept is dynamic resistance is represented by changing voltage by changing current. We are considering one particular point. We are taking the small range of voltage and small range of current. Like that, if I want to measure the resistance at this point, when I take small range of voltage and current, its value will be different. Resistance value will be different. Here also it will be different. So at different points we get different value of resistance. It is not constant. So it is a non-ohmic device. So students, please make a note of it once again. Now let us go to reverse bias. Now in reverse bias, what we are doing is either we change the polarity, the plus and minus, the batteries plus and minus in the diode we will interchange, or diodes V and we will interchange, but not the both. So you can compare the difference. I have drawn the battery first, then what I had taken, a rheostat. Let me keep the battery position same, plus and minus, a rheostat, and again in series. But one thing you have to keep it in mind, under reverse bias diode do not conduct. There is no current because of majority charge carriers. Only minority charge carriers will work. And this current, drift current produced due to minority charge carrier is very, very low, of the order of microampere. So the same emitter will not work here. Here the emitter you have to select whose readings are in microampere. So emitter, microemitter we are using. Again here plus, so this terminal will be positive, here negative. And the diode, here we have to just tilt it. In the case earlier it was like this. Here we have connected P and N in forward bias. Now so just we have to reverse it. Now here it becomes N. And P will be this way. And again voltage, of course, that connection will remain same, and the same voltmeter you can use it here. Since from positive here it is positive, plus minus, here also I can take plus minus. Only the changes here it is N and P. You can see the difference, students. This is battery, rheostat same, diode same, only the connection is reversed. Voltmeter connection is same. The change is here in forward bias it is milliamps. You can see it. This ammeter is micro, 1000 times lesser than milli. Milli 10 to the power minus 3, micro 10 to the power minus 6. And here n is this side, p is this side. So that is the difference you have to remember while doing the reverse bias connection, circuit connection. Now since it is a reverse bias, here graph also we are taking in negative x-axis and negative y-axis since it is reversed. Where that negative x and negative y will come? So in the graphical representation, this is positive x-axis, positive y-axis, negative x, negative y. Now always voltage is represented along x-axis. Here we have represented voltage. This portion we have used for forward bias, representation of forward bias. Now the negative x-axis comes here. So here we have to represent the reverse voltage. And negative, the current here, what we get it in microamps, that current we are representing it. So we are taking this quadrant for graphical representation. So let me take the values V and I. Let me take some sample values. Here I is measured in microampere. When voltage is 0, of course current is 0. And voltage, let me take the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 10, 15, 20, etc. here. The current, unlike forward bias, in forward bias for starting initial few values of voltage, current almost remains 0. But here we get small amount of drift current even when small amount of voltage is increased. Here I will get the value of current here, say 0.5, then here at 2 I will get 0.6, then 0.8, then here I will get 1. And for next few values the current almost will remain same. Then after one particular voltage, current increases. How much it increases depends upon the applied reverse voltage. So here current suddenly increases, say it becomes 3, next it may become 4, even though here even if I apply 20.05, it will be 4. Here if I apply then again 20.1, it will be 5. Like that, even for slight increase in the voltage, or I can say even though for the same voltage, slight increment, 20.05 is nearly 20, small increment. The current increases, we won't say sharply here, suddenly the current will increase. And that this let us represent graphically. Now here I have to draw the third quadrant, negative x-axis and negative y-axis. Negative x-axis I am representing voltage, unit is in volts. Here current I am representing in milliamps. Sorry, not milliamps, microamp. Now by plotting these points, initially 0. As voltage increases, current increases, but you see the value is very, very small. Suppose if I take 1 here itself, 1, 2, 3, 4, here small increment will be there. Again small increment. Then afterwards what happens? It suddenly, here itself I have taken 1. So all the values almost remains 1. And after one particular value, the current, that is here you can see 20, current increases suddenly. Now these values of current which remains constant, these all values of current is called as saturation current. After this point current increases, so I can plot the points like this. When I join this graph, it will look like this. First small, immediate after 0 current increases, then it remains constant. This portion is called as saturation reverse current. Why the word reverse? Because it is under reverse bias. Saturation reverse current. Generally the the reverse value of voltage after which or at which the current suddenly increases. Now the device don't have the control of voltage and current here. Current cannot be controlled by this voltage, and our ordinary semiconductor diodes are not designed to work under this reverse bias condition. Of course, we can work it under this region of saturation current region, but we are not working that using the diode to work under this region of current, or under breakdown voltage we are not using that diode. Now why this happens? The question will be there in your mind. Why this breakdown will come? Already in the last class, in reverse bias, if this is P type and this is N type, when you have given the reverse bias connection, I told that width of the depletion region increases. Here you have fixed negative charges, space charge region, fixed positive space charge region. As the voltage increases, reverse voltage, when the applied reverse voltage here increases, what happens? This width of the depletion region also increases. When this width increases, more and more space charge regions are accumulated. As a result, here, what is generated because of this fixed space charge region? Electric field. And this electric field slowly starts drifting the minority charge carriers, and that current is up to saturation current. This current is because of minority charge carriers. Then after that, what happens is, when you have applied more and more, see in this example, this is only an example, students. Suppose I have applied after 15, say 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 volts. The electric field here developed is very large. Very large amount of electric field is developed, and this electric field is enough for the valence electrons. This is nucleus. These all are the 4 valence electrons. These valence electrons gains energy from this electric field, and they are forced. It experiences the force F equal to QE, and they are forced to move out. Means move out from its orbit. It gets ionized. So in this, the valence electrons of the atoms gains enough energy, and they will move out. When they move out, what happens? The flow of electron gives rise to what? Current. And that movement of valence electrons. So here, then whatever is left behind is an ion, positive ion. So valence electrons are forced to move out, and the current what we get this is not because of minority charge carriers, but because of this ionized portion. And that will increase in a fraction of a second. Very large amount of electrons will come out. As a result, we say this condition as breakdown. So diode is said to be under breakdown region when a large amount of electric field is set, that is at breakdown voltage, and little bit higher value of that breakdown voltage. So this is the working under reverse bias condition. So we should not use the semiconductor diode in breakdown region. Then why we have to study this? I have told so much things about breakdown region and all. We should not use it. So what is the concept of studying this? Yeah, there are certain special purpose diodes. They work only under breakdown region. This becomes an important concept in that diode to regulate the output voltage. And that we will study in the next coming classes. And that type of special purpose diode, which we are using the working principle under this reverse bias condition, Zener diode, that is an interesting concept. For that sake, we should know this graphical representation. So students, you should know what is the this breakdown region, why current increases, and what is the why the here current remains almost constant, and what is the name of that current, and how the reverse bias condition works. So the basic difference you have understood: forward bias, reverse bias, its VI characteristic, and now the final conclusion. Under forward bias, the diode conducts. Under reverse bias, diode do not conduct. Why? Because current is very small, to the order of microampere. And this important principle, diode conducts under forward bias and do not conduct
negative. Now suppose if we are using this, there is a capacitor. Now when I have to charge it, first in this positive half cycle, this plate is charged positively, this plate is charged negatively. Here when I am applying, and this is the representation of AC source. Next, when it comes to negative half cycle, this positive will be discharged. So the capacitor gets discharged, this becomes negative, this becomes again positive. Like that, positive, negative, the capacitor keeps on getting charged and discharged. It won't remain under charged condition or at under constant. The terminals won't give the constant voltage always. But if I apply DC, always one plate will remain positive, other plate will remain negative, and we get constant output voltage. Like that. For that sake, we are using DC in some cases and AC in some cases. Where we require DC, means we have to convert AC to DC. Instead of this, suppose if I have here positive half cycle, instead of negative half cycle, I want once again positive. This positive first half, this is first half. Second half, I have drawn second half. Third half, I have drawn third half, like this. Suppose if I have this type of current, representation of current, then we say that it is unidirectional. This is bidirectional. Now the rectifier circuit, the circuit which works under the process of rectification, which has the capacity of converting AC to DC, generally we represent DC as a single straight line. The current remains almost constant. In order to get this constant current, what we have to do? First, these waveforms, in negative cycle, the waveform which is there in this portion, that you have to bring it above. And then using filter circuits, you are getting this type of graphical representation, that is called DC. And that whole working is done by using rectifier circuits. So in simple, we can say rectification is the process of converting bidirectional current, that is AC, to unidirectional current, that is DC. And the circuit which is working under the process of rectification are called rectifier circuit, or simply we say that they are rectifiers. Now here there are two types of rectifiers. Today we will study about half wave rectifier. What is this half wave rectifier? What is it? Very simple. Let us come to know about it. Now in this rectifier circuit, the diode is connected to a load resistor, and a transformer is required. Why we require this transformer? Transformer converts voltage from one value to other value. Here AC voltage is very large, we want little bit lower value. So for that sake, we are using transformer, and the symbol for transformer is, you are representing two coils like this. And between these two coils, you are drawing two parallel lines without touching it. This whole system is called transformer. It has two coils. So the first coil is called primary coil, second one is called secondary coil. The input is given across primary, that is from AC source. Input is AC. Now output what we have to get, that is DC. So now here I have connected a diode and I have connected a load resistor from the N side, P side and N side, and just load resistor's other end is connected to second point of the secondary coil. Now here let me take this point as A this point as B, this is load resistor, this is P side and this is N side of the diode. Now how we get rectified output here? At the input we have AC cycle. When I consider this first half cycle, during the first half cycle entry, A is at positive potential. So automatically when A is higher potential, B should be at lower potential. B is at negative potential. When A is at positive potential, P is connected to positive. Whenever P is connected to positive, we say diode is under forward bias. So diode is said to be under forward bias. If it is under forward bias, what happens? It conducts. When it conducts, it allows current to flow through it. In which direction? A, let me mark this as X, Y, A, X, Y, B. So current flows from X to Y. And when current flows, according to Ohm's law, we have V equal to I into R. That I into R, we get here output voltage. And that output voltage we will measure it. Now next point, in the negative half cycle, this is in positive half cycle, that is first half cycle. First positive half cycle. In negative half cycle, first negative half cycle, reverse takes place. In this negative half cycle now, A is at negative potential, B is at positive potential. Everything we have to write it in reverse way. A is at negative potential, B is at positive potential. Once if A is at negative potential, P is said to be connected to negative, diode is said to be under. So diode is under reverse bias. If it is under reverse bias, it do not conduct. If it do not conduct, no current flows through it. If no current flows through it, we won't get output voltage. Again in the next positive half cycle, this process repeats, we get output voltage. Again in next negative half cycle, this process repeats and we get output voltage, and the graph what we represent will be like this. So this is our input waveform. Input voltage along y-axis, time along x-axis. Our output voltage is, during positive half cycle it conducts, so we will get the same. During negative half cycle, no voltage. Anyhow, due to small amount of drift current, small voltage of order nearly 0.001 will be there, and that 0.001 I have to represent throughout that half cycle as line parallel to x-axis. Again it conducts here, again I have this cycle. Again in negative half cycle do not conduct like this, so we get only positive half cycle as output. Now suppose if we are using this type of rectifier in our battery charging system, our 50% of energy is wasted, because once we get current, then for negative half cycle 0, no current, then current, no current, the charging process will increase. For that sake, we are not using this half wave rectification process in our day-to-day life circuits. Then why to study this? Just for the sake of principle, what happens? So we can do this better by using two diodes, such that we can get output even this portion also. That is called full wave rectification. So students, that we will study it in the next class. By then, just be prepared for these things. You write a notes related to this explanation. Okay, thank you.